welcome back to Dynamic Dune. In this video, I will be showing you guys how you should make decisions on the R&D section of the decision tables. So if you go to the R&D in here, you'll come to this page, and this is your first decision that you need to make, which is positioning your product. If you haven't watched my video, performance and size ideal positions, I highly recommend that you go and check it out, because I explain in that video how, in great detail, how you can position your product and why. I explain the why, so you understand why you should position your product that way. So in this video, we will be implementing what I talked about in the performance and size ideal positions. So let's get going. To make these decisions, you're gonna need two reports. The first report is the courier report, and you can click on any of these to open it. And also we're gonna need the conditions report. So I already have them open in here, this one and this one. So this is the industry conditions report, and this is the Capsim courier report. So you're gonna need these two open. So let's go. So we're gonna look at the first product. The first product, Able. We wanna know what segment does Able belong to, so we know how we can position this product. So we're gonna go and look at the segments. So we start with the traditional. To know what's Able's segment, we can look at the market share. So as you see in the traditional segment, Able has 26% market share. That means that Able is in the traditional segment. If you go and look anywhere else, look, Able is not here. It's not in the low end. Able is not in the high end. Well, it is in the high end, but it only has 1%. So that means that it's taking a little bit from the high end, but that's not going to happen in the next round, because the segments are going to shift away from each other. And then performance, Able is here, but it has 0%. It only sold 3 units in the performance segment. And in the size segment, Able has 2% market share, and it sold 31 units. But still, again, the segments are going to shift far from each other. So in the next round, Able is probably not going to have market share in the other markets, most likely. Okay, so we go to the traditional market segment, and we look at Able. Okay, so Able is in traditional market segment. So we want to know what is the ideal position for performance, size, and MTBF. So let's start with MTBF first, because it's easy. So if you are a broad differentiator, you want your product to be the best. So what you want to do is look at your competitors. How are your competitors making their MTBF? You can see here, you see their MTBF for all the products in this segment. So you see, because it's the first round, no one actually has changed anything. To be sure, or like to make sure that you have the best product, I recommend making your MTBF the highest in the beginning. So make it 19,000. So when you make it 19,000, why did I say 19,000? If you watched my customer buying criteria video, you will understand why. But let's do it quick. Reliability in here, in the traditional customer buying criteria, it tells you that your product needs to be between 14,000 and 19,000 to get 90% of the customers. And if you put it 19,000, that means that you have the highest MTBF, and your product is more likely to be the best in terms of quality and reliability, I mean. Okay, so now that we're done with the MTBF, we said we want it to be 19,000 because we are a broad differentiator. and we want our product to be the best. Okay, so let's see performance and size. We will look at performance and size and say, okay, so the current performance and size, 5.5 and 14.5. And what does the customers want in the coming round? Let's see. For this, we can look at here and here. This is the ideal position. So the ideal position is, and you look, this is for round 0. So at the end of round 0, the ideal position was 5 performance and 15 size. So this is gonna be our position in the ideal position, sorry. This is gonna be the ideal position in the beginning of round 1, which is the round that we are making decisions for right now. You see round 1, we're making decisions for round 1. So for that, we're gonna need the industry conditions report. So we're gonna go down to table 2, and we were gonna look at traditional. So for traditional, okay, so if you didn't watch the performance and size ideal positions, I explained all this in that video. I recommend going and watching it if you don't understand anything in that I'm saying in here. Okay, so as we discussed in that video, we said that this is round 0. 5 performance and 15 size is the ideal position at the end of the round. And that means that this is the ideal position in the beginning of the next round, which is round 1. And we are making decisions for round 1 right now. So what my way and what I recommended is to position the product in the middle of the year. So don't position your product at the end of the year, like 5.7 and 14.3. No, position it in the middle. So you're gonna go and be like, okay, so 5, so you're gonna say, okay, 5.7 minus 5, that means 0.7. 0.7 divided by 2. Why? Because we want it to be in the middle. So we don't want it to be 7, we want it to be in the middle. So half of 0.7 is 0.35. So we're gonna go and say, okay, so this is performance is 5, and so we want it to be 5.35. So we go and say, oh, look, actually, our performance is already higher. It's already 5.5. So in that way, I am not gonna go and incur a cost for myself and say, okay, I want it to be 5.35. And as you see here, they round it to 5.4. So you need to make that, like you cannot change that, but it is okay. So let's say that 5.4, okay? So we technically, what we did right now is decrease the value of our product. We made our product worse, which is not good. We shouldn't do that. But I'm doing it just to show you why we shouldn't do it. Because first, it's gonna take us some time. Sorry about this here. It's gonna take us some time. Look, the revision date, it's gonna take us about 3 months to revise the product. It's gonna decrease the age of the product, which is a good thing. Decreasing the age is a good thing because we want the age of traditional segment to be at 2, around 2. So it's a good thing to decrease the age for the traditional segment. So that means that what this means is that at March 23rd, 2016, the age of the product is gonna be 1 year, 0.7. Okay, so it's good. That means that later in the year it's gonna be a little bit after 2. So if you look here, age profile for the traditional segment able, it is like until March it's 3.3, and then when it reaches to March 23rd, it goes down by half. It goes to 1.7, and then from 1.7 it goes to 2.4. So at the end of this round, the age is gonna be 2.4. So it's good that the age goes down, because remember, if you watched the customer buying criteria video that I made, you're going to understand that age is the most important factor. Age is the most important factor in customer buying criteria. It has 47% importance. This is for the traditional segment. So it's very important that you have the ideal age for the traditional segment. So we're going to look at this and say, okay, so that means we're going to need to do any changes, but that means that don't do it for this, because we don't want to change this, and it was at 5.5, so we don't want to make our product worse, because eventually we're gonna increase it in the following round. We're having some technical difficulty. It seems that it doesn't want to update it, but I think you all got it right. We don't want to make our product worse, so we don't want to decrease our performance for the traditional. And then we go and look at the size. Okay, we want to fix the size for the traditional, so we go and look, okay, what is the ideal size? So if you look at the ideal position in here, it says 15 is the ideal size in the beginning of the year, in the beginning of round 1. So you say, okay, so in the beginning of round 1, this is the ideal. So we go and look at the industry report, and we go and we say, okay, so in the beginning it's gonna be 15, and then at the end it's gonna be 14.3. So at the same as here, what we're gonna say, okay, so that means 15 minus 14.3 equals 0.7, and we divide this by 2, and it's 0.35. So we say, okay, so we need to decrease 15 by 0.35, and what that will give us, or you can also do it by the opposite. We say 14.3 plus 0.35, and however, that will affect where your product is positioned because of roundups. So we go and we say, okay, 15 minus 3.5 equals in here it's gonna be 14.6. However, you see it's already 14.5. We don't want to increase the size for our products, because again, it's going to make our product worse. So what we want to do is keep the product the same if we don't want to incur any costs. However, remember what we said about the age. Age is very important for traditional. So we look in here. If we don't change anything, age is gonna be 3, and it's gonna go all the way up to 4. So we need to change something to have better age for our product. So we go and say, okay, we can decrease size a little bit. We can decrease it by 1 in here. So we say 14.4. Because anyway, we're gonna have to decrease the size later. So this is gonna make our product a little bit better. You can also do the same thing with performance. You can increase performance by 0.1. So instead of 5.5, you can increase performance to 5.6, and that's gonna also get you. It's right. It's gonna shift you away from the middle. But that's okay, because age is more important for traditional segment, as we discussed in the customer buying criteria video. Age is more important, because if you see here, the importance of age is 47%, and the ideal position is only 21%. It's more than half less important than age. So we need to fix age for the first product. So what I would do is say, okay, so we decrease size by 0.1, and we calculate it. I'm sorry, I'm having some technical difficulty. Let me try to fix this, and I will be back. Okay, I'm back and everything is fixed right now. All right, so as you see, the product is 5.5, 14.5, and 17,500. We said we want this to be 19,000, and we said we will decrease size by 0.1. We can also increase performance by zero point 0.1, but we don't have to, because as long as you change size or performance a little bit, age is going to be decreased by half. So, so we don't need to move performance higher. You can. It's all up to you. It's all a matter of your perspective and how you think it should be better for positioning your product. And that's how I did it. So, okay. Now our age is perfect, 1.7. That's perfect. That means it's gonna be around in March. It's gonna be 1.7, and then at the end in December it's gonna be 2.4, which is perfect. We're gonna have the perfect age, and and that means we're gonna have great customer buying criteria for this product, because that means we're gonna have good positioning, which ideal position, and a good age. So we're already very good in terms of this, because we're gonna have more than 68% from the customers liking our product, which is a good thing. Okay, so next, Acre. So what we were gonna go and say, okay, so Acre, what segment are you from? It's not gonna answer, of course, so we need to go and check. All right, so we scroll down, and it's probably in the low end because of it's just designed that way. But let's see. Yeah, you see, Acre is 33% market share in the low end segment. Acre has 7% in the traditional, but again, remember, it will segments are gonna move far from each other, so it's not gonna have the market share in there. Okay, so it's a low end segment product. So okay, let's go and say, okay, how can we position performance and size and MTBF? So for low end, we're gonna look at the customer buying criteria. Price is most important, age is second, ideal position is third, reliability is fourth. And in here, as you see, price is very, very, very important. It is a 53% importance. So we need to make sure that we get best price for that, and to do that, we need to have a cheaper product. So what I would do is I would decrease the MTBF in this product. So if you look at the tactics of broad differentiator, you need to have the products that are high quality and basically the best products in the market. However, if you do that for the simulation's sake, if you do that in simulation, you're gonna lose customers. You're gonna lose sales. So what I did is say, okay, I need to have a lower price in the low end, because if I don't, I'm not gonna sell in it at all. Like, I will sell a little bit, but I'm not gonna be competitive in the low end segment. And I want, as a broad differentiator, I want to be competitive in all markets and in all segments. So let's go. How performance? How should we make it for you, Acre? So currently our product is at 3, and at the end of round 0 and the beginning of our round 1, customers want a product that is 1.7 in performance and 18.3 in size. So we go and look at the other report and say, okay, low end. In the beginning, they want 2.5. No, of course. Go and watch. If you don't know why it says 2.5 here, go and watch my customer buying criteria video, and also the performance and size ideal positions video, and you will understand this. Okay, so we go and say, okay, so 2.5 minus, we can do that and calculate it manually, or we can save our time and say, okay, so in the beginning of round 1, they want 1.7. And at the end of round, 1.7 in performance, and size 18.3. And we can do this. We say, okay, in the beginning of round 1, customers want a product that is 1.7 performance and 18.3 in size. So what is the drift? The drift rate. So the drift rate is plus 0.5 for performance and minus 0.5 for size. So we say, okay, so that means that at the end of round 1, we're gonna have performance at 2.2. Why? Because we added 0.5 to 1.7, so it became 2.2. So we say, okay, how is our product? Oh, our product is positioned at 3 performance. So our product is much superior than what customers want. It's much better. And then we have a choice. We say, okay, do we change the product and decrease the performance or not? What I recommend is not. Do not. Why? Because ideal position is not very important in the low-end segment. So you don't need to be exactly around the ideal position. It's only 16%. So as long as you have decent age and perfect price, customers are gonna buy it. However, that doesn't mean that you go and position your product way further than what customers want, because you need to be within this circle. So you look at the perceptual map and you say, okay, I need to be inside of this circle here. This is the low end segment circle. You need to be inside of this circle to have sales. If you are outside of the circle, you're not gonna have any sales. So right now you are inside of the circle, and you probably can stay there for like 3-4 rounds without moving, and you're still in the circle. So we say, okay, so that means we're gonna not move performance. We want to leave it, and then for size we say 18.3 negative 0.5, because as you saw here, the drift is negative 0.5 for size for the low end segment. So we say, okay, that means that this is gonna be 17.8. Okay, so 17.8. How is our product positioned? Our product is 17 in size. So that means it's perfectly positioned. It's much better than what customers want. And in the coming rounds, we're gonna be in the ideal position. So we can just leave it. We don't have to change anything in it. And then for MTBF, like I said before, I would recommend decreasing the MTBF. Why? To have lower price. So in the beginning, I want to have lower price, so I want to have lower cost. So decreasing the MTBF is gonna decrease the cost of the products. So we go and decrease it. And you see here, it tells you that age at revision is 4.7, because when you change MTBF, when you change MTBF, age does not change. It stays. It continues in growing the same number. It doesn't cut in half. You see it in here. Age did not cut in half, even though that we changed MTBF. And it tells you that at the end of this round, the age of this product is going to be 5.6. So you say, all right, perfect. This product is good. We want the age to be around 7 for acre, because it is in the low end segment. And customers in the low end want want a product that is high in age. So we're done with the low end segment for R&D. Perfect. And then we go and say, okay, Adam, you're probably high end, right? Yeah, Adam's high end. Adam has a 29% market share in high end. So we say, okay, perfect. Let's go and see performance. performance is 8 in here for Adam, and in the customer buying criteria, they want a performance in the beginning of round 1. The performance that customers want is 8.9. So we go and say, okay, so what is the drift rate for high end? The drift rate for high end performance is 0.7. Sorry, 0.9. So 0.9. So we go and say, okay, so it means 8.9 plus 0.9 equals 9.8. So 9.8. And our performance is way lower than what customers actually want. Customers actually want, right? Our performance is way lower than what customers actually want. And what we want is to have our product positioned in the middle of the year, right? So So when we look at the drift, we say we want half of the drift because we don't want the product to be at the end of the year. We want it positioned in the middle. Again, go and check my ideal positions video. So we're gonna say, okay, so we want it to be actually where we want our product. We want our product to be positioned at 8.9 plus 0.45. So when we add that, it becomes a 9.35. So we go and say, okay, so we want Adam's performance to be at 9.35. And it will round up to 4. So 9.4. We're good with that. And then we say, okay, for size, what is the size that we want for Adam? As you see, the size in here is 11.1. So in the beginning of round 1, customers want a product that is sized at 11.1. So we say, okay, so what is the drift for high-end size? It is negative 0.9. So you go and say, all right, we want negative 0.9. So that means we want half of that. So we say 11.1 minus 0.45. And it will be 10.75. And when we... Sorry, it's going to be 10.65. So we're going to go and put 10.65. And this will be 10.7. Why? Because, again, it rounds up. So what I do is make this 10.6 instead then. And that will make it round to the right direction that we want it to round to, because in here it rounded extra 0.5, and here we want it to round less 0.5. So we say, okay, so and then for MTBF, let's go and look at the MTBF. For the high-end segment, customers want MTBF that is between 20,000 and 25,000. So we go and say, all right, and it is 90% importance. So we say, so that means it's important. And also remember, price is not important in the high end. So we can price it very high and customers will still buy our product. So we go and say, all right, so let's just make our MTBF high to get 19%, because reliability is more important than price. So we say, all right, let's go and make it 25,000. And remember, we are making it at the highest right now because we don't know what our competitors are gonna be doing. So right now we make it at 25,000 just to make sure that our product is the best. But then maybe our competitors are not actually near 25,000. Maybe they will keep their products at 23,000 or 24. So we can decrease it to a little bit higher than our competitors to decrease our cost and also we need to make sure that we still the best, has the best reliability. Okay, so we say recalculate. You see, there is a problem in here. And the problem was that this product, if we change it this much, it will be finished next year. And we don't want that. That means that when you make decisions next round, you're not going to be able to make decisions for Adam. Adam is going to be blocked, and you're not going to be able to change anything. So you're going to have to wait for 2 rounds to make changes. So we don't want that. We don't want that. So we go and say, okay, how can we fix this? So we say, okay, what if we do it higher size? Like we say size, make it 7, and performance, we lower it by 1 also. So we put one extra size, and we less 1 performance. Sorry, 0.1 and 0.1 here. I don't mean 1. Okay, so that, you see, it changed 1 month. It decreased by 1 month. So we say, okay, so we want this to be 9.1, and this we want it to be 10.9. How is this going to be? Perfect. You see this? It's going to change, but it's not going to change until the last round. It is okay. That means that this round you're probably not going to get a lot of sales because your product is not going to be updated to the new performance and size and MTBF until December. So you're only going to have like less than a month of sales with the new specs of your product. So that means you're not going to be selling a lot maybe, but you don't ever know because maybe your industry doesn't do well too. So this is the best that you can do because you want your product to be close there. So that right now you're kind of close to what customers want in the next round. So in the next round we said 8.9. So at least you're inside what customers want. You're not in the middle, but you are inside the brackets that customers want. So you're good to go. So we're good with high end. Now we're good. So we go and say, okay, AFT, performance, size, and MTBF. We go and say, okay, AFT, you're probably performance. So yes, AFT has a 33% market share in performance. So perfect, it's performance. So what is the ideal position for performance, size, and MTBF for AFT? So our AFT has 9.4 in performance, and the ideal position in the beginning of round 1 is 9.4 in performance. So it's at the ideal position in the beginning. That's good. And then for size, 15.5. That's our product, and customers want a size that is 16 in the beginning of the round. So okay, and then AFT's MTBF is to 25,000. And look here, reliability for performance is the highest in importance. So we want reliability to be the best. So definitely we're going to go and say, okay, for performance, we're going to put the highest reliability we can put. And remember, do not put it higher than 27,000. That's going to hurt you. It's not going to benefit you. Basically, customers are going to say, oh, that's too much. I don't want to get it. And they're not going to buy it. So you need to stay within what the simulation says. So 27,000, 27,000. Do not try to put higher than that. So 27,000 is the highest. Good. That's what we want. And then we go and say, okay, so for performance, customers want 9.4 in the beginning of the round. However, based on the strategy that I told you in the ideal position video, we want to position our product in the middle. So we go and say, all right, performance drift is 1 plus 1 every round. So that means we want to increase performance by half, which is 0.5. So half of 1 is 0.5. So we say, okay, so we want it to be at 9.4 plus 0.5 equals 9.1. Sorry, 9.9. So 9.9, we say, okay, so we want this to be 9.9 because we want to increase the performance. And then for size, customers that want 16 in the beginning of the round. So what is a drift? It is negative 0.7. So that means we need to decrease the size from 16 by 0.35. Why? Because half of 7 is 0.35. So we decrease it, so that means it's going to be 15.6. But our size is already 15.5, so it's good. Because if we decrease our size, that means we're making our product better. If we increase our size, that means we're making our product worse. So we don't want to make our product worse. So we keep our product at 15.5. We don't change that. And and by this we finished from the performance segment, and we're good. We calculate and we look at the age. Sorry, this is taking forever. Yay! All right, so it's gonna end the changes in on April 30th, 2016. Perfect. And the age at revision is gonna be 1.4. So what is the ideal age? The ideal age is 1. However, we're not going to be able to have that probably. We're just going to be as near to that 1 as possible. So we say, okay, so 1.4 is good for performance. We don't have problem with it. Let's go to the next one, size. All right, so we scroll down and go, okay, size. So Agape, you're at size. So Agape is size, and it has 31% in market share in size. So good. Performance of Agape is 4, and size is 11. MTBF is 19. Let's finish with MTBF first. Reliability. It's 19% importance in here, so we want to be the best in it. So we go and say, okay, we want it to be highest. It is 21,000, so we go and say 21,000, and then we look at the ideal position. So the ideal position in size, it's the most important thing. It is 43% importance. So we need to make sure that we are positioned in the best way possible. So in the beginning of round 1, the ideal position is 4 in performance and 10.6 in size. So we go and say, okay, what is the drift? The drift rate for size is 0.7 in performance. So we want to increase performance by what? That's right, 0.35. So we increase 4 by 0.35. So perfectly, our product is at 4. So we say 4.35. And it will, remember, 35 will be 4 because it's rounding. It's okay. And then we go and say, all right, so what is the ideal position in the beginning of round 1 for size? It is 10.6. So we say, okay, so in the beginning it's 10.6. And then we go and look and say, okay, so the drift rate is -1. So half of -1 is 0.5. So we say 10.6 -0.5. And that means it's going to be at 10.1. So we say, oh, our size is at 11, so we want to decrease it to 10.1. 10.1. And recalculate. And you see our product is going to end at August 9, 2016. That's when the changes are going to be effective. And the age is going to be 1.6. What is the age that they want here. It is 1.5. So that's good. We're going to be close to 1.5, which is a good thing. That's the end of the size segment. And this way, we finished our R&D decisions. We made all the decisions for all our products. We're done with R&D. The next video, we're going to go to the marketing decisions. I hope that you understand what I am doing here and why I'm doing it this way. And remember, these decisions that I'm making are for myself. What you need to do is calculate your own and make sure that you are doing great. Do not copy the numbers. Simulations are different. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm having a cold. So simulations are different, so do not copy numbers and just do that. So make sure that you go and calculate everything yourself. If you have any questions about calculations, ask me down in the description. And remember, go back and watch my previous videos about performance and size, ideal positions, customer buying criteria, and the balanced scorecard. So good luck on your simulation, and I will see you in the next video.